A doctor in charge of retrieval services has called for all the state's emergency helicopters to come under the control of one agency. The floods inquiry has heard there were problems deploying helicopters during the summer of disasters. Tomorrow is the final day of public hearings before an interim report is due in August. But the Premier has already granted an extension to the deadline for the Commission's final report because of the volume of evidence.
Queensland's emergency helicopter network responds to over 14,500 aeromedical tasks a year. But the inquiries heard the network became overloaded in December and January. The Queensland Coordination Centre, which looks after the vast majority of the network's activity, has an average of 50 cases per day. But on the 11th of January, it skyrocketed to 114. 2 days later, when Brisbane flooded, it peaked at 119. The State Medical Director for Retrieval Services, Mark Elcock, told the inquiry the flood disaster highlighted problems within the system.
During a disaster, there are 7 different agencies that can call directly for an emergency helicopter, including the State Disaster Coordination Centre, Queensland Health, Ambulance, Fire and Police. The inquiries heard this leads to confusion and miscommunication and puts enormous pressure on the pilot to prioritise the requests.
On the 12th of January, pilot Mark Kempton argued with the Coordination Centre because it wanted him to retrieve a critically ill baby from Dalby instead of carry out search and rescues in the Lockyer Valley. Dr Elcock told the Commission the problems are not confined to the January floods but also happen in other disasters. He said not having a central tasking agency is a fundamental flaw in the tasking of the assets. It is imperative that all emergency helicopter network tasks are integrated under the one structure at state level. Emergency Management Queensland's Bruce Grady supported the move. Francine Norton, ABC News, Brisbane.